Hello, my name's Andy Beasley. I was the commander of the London Bridge terror attack back in 2017. Before I start my presentation today, I'd just like to firstly, let's all remember the emergency services personnel that lost their lives to COVID in the past year and all the victims of terrorism throughout the years throughout the world. At this point, all the figures that I'm sharing with you today are true and reflect the fact at the time of me writing the presentation. So, on Saturday, the 3rd of June, at 21:58 hours, a van was driven at the speed into multiple pedestrians on the London Bridge. On the bridge itself, it was killed 3 and injured many others. The first assailants then abandoned the vehicle due to the mobilisation of that vehicle. The fuel was cut and the airbags were deployed. They then proceeded on foot. They were armed with 12-inch ceramic knives that were taped to their hands to stop them from dropping them or being knocked out of their hands. They were also wearing imitation suicide vests, which were later found out to be plastic bottles with black tape wrapped around them. This just shows the scene of the van itself and where it was abandoned, just on the south side of London Bridge by the Borough Market, which would be to the left. As it started, we're now leading to what happened when I arrived. The first 4 to arrive, including myself, was an advanced paramedic and 2 specialist cars, which are known as tactical response units. We very quickly realised that this incident was a separate incident to the north side. We didn't want to sectorise it, so what we decided was there were 2 clear separate incidents, and that was due to the van, which I'll come on to in a moment. But very quickly we realised that we were dealing with a terrorist attack. Our awareness and the responders' awareness was given as an RTC, which is a road traffic collision. This is the same as what happened at Westminster Bridge earlier on in the year that I was at as well. There was a lot of people that evening presenting themselves with horrific injuries, and I only had a few number of personnel to actually assist me at that time. They were either being held at RVPs or slowly making their way to scene, slowly in the fact that they couldn't get through due to barricades from the police force. There was a lot of radio chatter that evening as well. So very quickly, I asked our control room to separate the channels, making the north side separate to the south side, so that within the radio chatter, no one was long-winded, so everyone had a good understanding and we could deal with what we had rather than hearing what they had. We're still unknown who'd shot who at this time. Gunshots were heard when I first arrived. We didn't know if it was the good guys or if it was the bad guys being shot or shooting at us. So at the whole time, we were under the understanding that no terrorists had been neutralised. So my first actions on scene was handed over by the advanced paramedic and declared this a major incident. Thoughts into my head at the time of the safety of all the staff as gunfire had been happening, and as I had arrived and had to take cover, and it continued to happen while I was coordinating my side of the incident. My decisions were things like no high vis to be worn. I didn't want the staff to be targets. Body armour to be worn by all personnel. We had no confirmation that the attackers had been stopped. Possibly they were still out there. Possibly we were in the hot zone rather than the warm zone. and we should be cold zone working at this time because I was working with untrained ambulance crews when they were arriving. We set up a casualty clearing station outside a pub. It's for easier distance. We could be seen. We had our priorities set out onto the road, priority 1s, 2s and 3s, all set out. So as the vehicles could come in, the parking officer could tell them where to turn. They could then see the loading officer. They would have been triaged by this time, loaded onto the back of the ambulances and sent away to the hospital that they were needed at. The resources we had on scene at the time were specialist trained ambulance staff, I was saying, the tactical response units. The only problem with TRUs is it takes a long time to gather them, to get them together, to get them kitted up. And, you know, in things like this, time is of an essence. But we did manage 46 patients all off the bridge, all survived that and are still alive today, just due to the efforts of the ambulance service and the other emergency services on that evening. We also had the armed police, but not only the armed police from the Metropolitan Police, we also had the armed police from City of London Police and also the BTP, and also we had counter-terrorism specialist firearms officers, which are under the Metropolitan Police Service. I had over 80 ambulance staff there. They were sent to see both north and south sides and the Special Air Service. So the SAS, when they arrived, the arrival of the FAA showed how seriously that our government and the Cobra meeting had taken this incident and how dangerous it had become, because they still believed there was outstanding terrorists on the run. And they didn't believe, they had a belief that there was more people out there, and they believed they were armed with AK-47s. The resources, like I say, the normal ambulance staff, the special air services, armed police officers, and a picture there of the kit that my TRU, Tactical Response Unit, what they will wear, ballistic helmets and body armour and coveralls. Going on to casualties and hospitals and numbers of casualties. So as you can see by this, the South Side Borough Market was a very, very busy place. It had the majority of the casualties, and the South Side of the hospital, the South Side hospitals also received the most amount of casualties. So it's taken into account of extricating the most serious casualties, and we're still believing the whole time that there was one outstanding terrorist armed with an AK-47 in hiding while my crews were working within that warm zone. So King's College Hospital, South Side, 11 priority 1s, 3 priority 2s and 2 priority 3s. Royal London, North Side Hospital, 2 priority 1s, 6 priority 2s, 2 priority 3s. St Mary's Paddington, 1 priority 1 and 1 priority 2. St Thomas's South Side, 4 priority 1s, 8 priority 2s. UCH Universal College Hospital, 1 priority 1, 2 priority 2s and 2 priority 3s. Lewisham with Southside Hospital were no patients, but were placed on alert to receive other injured coming, but we managed to make sure that they weren't needed, and we managed to use the hospitals and utilise the ones closer to us. As I said before, all priority 1s are the most injured, priority 2s the second most, and priority 3s, and then you have your survivors. Things have changed due to the case at the Old Bailey, the public inquiry. A lot of things changed. So warm zone working now comes into a state. So warm zone working is, it used to be for trained personnel only, but now I can make, as the scene commander, the judgment whether I can ask and I cannot order members of the ambulance service to go forward into the warm zone and work for us. Multiple patient kits on our vehicles, including carrying aids. We found a lot of the time that patients were being carried to us in arms. They were being carried to us on makeshift carrying aids from furniture and things like that. My own example was I had one female that was walked to me with a horrific chest injury. Two police officers were there, and they managed to carry her to the casualty clearance station for me on a pup chair, literally bottom and top of the pup chair, and carried her off to the casualty clearance station. Better body armour. We're looking at better body armour. The TRU, Tactical Response Units, carry it. It's a normal body armour, but with ceramic plates in front, so it can stop a bigger calibre of weapon. We are looking at that, and to upgrade to carry that on my vehicle to give out to the staff that have to go forward. Better working between the emergency services. So we have JESSOP, which is the Joint Emergency Services Interoperable Programme at this time, but a better understanding between ourselves, especially the police, the military and the fire service, in working together on multi-casualty, multi-sited incidents. Training and updates for everybody, including my job, which is the Incident Response Officer team, going out there, training with the right people, training with the military, training with the firearms teams, training alongside our colleagues from the fire brigade and the police forces, just to have a better understanding and an update on where we are, what we're changing, what's best practice. That's basically me. I'd just like to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to my presentation. And if you have any questions, thank you.